Hi, everybody. We're here with the first episode of Ask an IT Guy. Alex, will you please introduce yourself for everybody?
Hi, my name is Alex Von During. I'm the manager, owner, and operator of Epic IT Group.
So, today we're going to ask you a few questions about IT from some of the people online. The first question we have is, what is managed services and what does that mean/include?
But the main focus is basically we want to bring the services that large enterprise use to the small business environment to make them able to compete on the same platform that they already are working with. That didn't sound right.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, hold on.
Okay.
Okay,
So we're going to start over,
we can.
but from
Okay.
now on, if you don't feel comfortable with it, don't
Yep.
say it didn't sound right.
Okay.
Don't
Just keep going.
ever, yeah, don't let any chink show in the shield, because that would have been good. You
Okay.
just thought it wasn't.
Okay.
All right. So we're going
Sorry.
again. We're
I
going
gotta get.
again. Oh, you're perfect. You're perfect. You look great on the camera. You sound good. You sounded good even though you stumbled a little bit. You're good. You're perfect. All right, let's start over again. We're going to do the intro. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Ask an IT Guy. Today we're here with Alex from Epic IT Group. Please introduce yourself, Alex.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Von During. I'm the manager of Epic IT Group and owner and operator.
Perfect, perfect. So today we're going to answer a couple questions that we got from online. The first question would be, what does managed services mean and what does it usually include?
Managed services is just a way for us to be the outsourced IT department for any small business. Most small businesses can't afford to bring an on-site IT person in their office, and we want to be able to level the playing field for those small businesses to be able to compete against larger organizations. So what we do is manage that you aren't as a small business owner or user and make it level.
Perfect, perfect. So would it be fair to assume that managed services means something different per every company we talk to?
Yeah, not everybody has the same needs and requirements. Somebody who's in the medical industry has to conform to HIPAA guidelines, and somebody who deals with credit card processing has to be PCI compliant. So, what each business needs is going to be different, but overall, a common universal factor is going to be things like security, using email, having a website, making sure the stuff works.
Perfect, perfect. That actually kind of transitions us to our next question. The next question we had was from a law firm and it was talking about email encryption. And it said, how hard is email encryption to use and why is it necessary?
Email encryption is actually quite simple to use. It changes a little bit when you receive the email. You're not going to see your email coming in the way you normally would. It won't just have the content right in the body of the email. You're normally going to receive a link or a file attachment that you double click on to open to a secure web portal. From there, you log in or authenticate yourself to prove that you are the recipient of this message. Once you're in, you see all of the sensitive data that the person had emailed to you, whether it's an attachment or actual content in email. You go ahead and you respond to it right in that secure portal, and then you have the paper trail and information securely conveyed between the two parties. Really, if you have an email client like Outlook or even webmail, for the most part, you can enable and set up a lot of this stuff. And it's not the difficulty is in the setup, not in the use.
Nice. So it pretty much can work standard with any email that they already have in place.
As long as you own the domain. So if you're trying to use like Gmail or an MSN account, those aren't domains that you can control. So
Okay.
if you want to set additional security features on that, you're going to be a little bit limited. So this is going to be for people who have their own domain. Now, if you do have your own a Gmail account or a domain that you don't control, there are ways around this. You can encrypt the contents of a message, but not the contents of the entire email. Like if you sent a secured Word document or a secured PDF, you can encrypt that message or that attachment, but not necessarily the entire email.
Perfect, perfect. Our last question is about backup and disaster recovery. More specifically, the Datto feature. Can you
Yes.
please explain to us what Datto is and how it works?
Datto is another company that is channel only, but the nice thing about what they do is they provide an appliance that you can set up on site and take backups of your data, or you can image entire systems. And then they allow this image that you've created to be uploaded to the cloud. And in the event of a disaster where you need to turn the server on in a remote location, you get that instant uptime. Well, not instant, but within a few minutes. And you can set up a connection between the points. So if your internet goes down, you can go to an alternate location, home for even, and establish that connection between the two sites, get access to your data, and it gives the company the ability to make sure that their data stays intact. It is available in a remote location and keeps the business operating until you can bring that equipment back in, like you get a new computer, you can restore from backup, restore that image, and then start operating as business as usual.
Do you have a real life example of something that has happened where Datto has came and saved the day?
Yes, a big threat attack vector is email, or excuse me, the CryptoLocker infection or the variants, where somebody gets an email and they don't realize that there is a malicious payload in that email. They'll double click the link, they'll open the attachment, it launches that payload, and what it does is encrypts all the data on the user's machine. It'll look for any vulnerable machines on the network, try and encrypt that data, and usually the server is set up to be allowing access for that user to access the data that's stored there. Well, that encryption goes through, destroys all the data, and then that's when they get the ransom that says, you've been encrypted, there's no way to get your data back, pay us $1,000 in Bitcoin and you can have your data back. Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You don't want to be stuck in that position. No. So if you have this backup in place, you can just wipe the computer that the person had to install that malicious software on, and then restore your data from backup. Most organizations, if you just need access to your data, you can be back up in a couple minutes.
So there are literally organizations of people going around attacking people's data for ransom?
Yes.
Small businesses?
Yep. Low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit. Now, before we conclude the call, we're going to go inside with a little insider knowledge and talk about this Dell Intel issue. Do you have any knowledge about what's going on between Dell and Intel currently?
So right now, Intel is the exclusive processor provider for Dell, and what's happening is there is a backlog on processor chips for, like, let's just say the Optiplex workstations. So people who normally buy these workstations expect these machines to be in a very timely manner, like less than a week lead time. But right now, for a machine that typically takes 14 days to build out, because there's a backlog on these Intel processor chips, you're looking at 120 days or more to get the same equipment. So
120 days.
120 days on average. So
keep going. So the prices are going to go up. The lead time's 120 days. Where else were you going with it?
So if you know if you're going to need this equipment in the near future, and you see it's available at a reasonable price, I would recommend that everybody jump on it. Have spare workstations in the wings in case like a computer piece component on it fails and dies, and that user no longer has an operable computer. You have a spare computer sitting in the side, ready to go, instead of waiting for a back order on some equipment that may take a questionable amount of time to fulfill, and you have an employee sitting there literally working with a pencil and paper because they don't have a computer to work on, or they're bringing their laptop in from home, which may have viruses on it or whatever. So it's just risky business, and I would always recommend having a spare workstation in the office. Depending on the number of people, you might want more than one.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It was a great episode 1.
Thanks, Philip.